Trump fumes as Fox admit Kimmel distraction backfired. The political stage once again turned chaotic as former President Donald Trump found himself at the center of another firestorm, this time triggered not by his own words but by the media outlet. Once considered a reliable ally, the situation unfolded when Fox executives reportedly acknowledged that their strategy to amplify late-night host Jimmy Kimmel as a distraction had misfired. Instead of pulling attention away from Trump controversies, it only fueled more headlines around his anger and raised further questions about the network's approach to covering him. Sources close to Trump described him as livid upon learning that Fox insiders had admitted behind closed doors that their reliance on Kimmel clips and commentary had been an attempt to steer the narrative. Trump took this revelation as a personal insult, blasting the network as disloyal and accusing its executives of sabotaging his public image. Observers pointed out that the unusual acknowledgement from Fox revealed the network's internal struggle in balancing Trump coverage with the need to keep ratings high. Kimmel had mocked Trump relentlessly in recent months, often using satire and short commentary that drew millions of online views. Fox producers reportedly believed spotlighting Kimmel's jabs would redirect conversation away from Trump's growing list of political and legal troubles, yet the opposite occurred. Instead of weakening Trump's grip on his supporters, the distraction appeared to embolden him. His base dismissed Kimmel as another Hollywood elite obsessed with attacking their leader, while Trump used the airtime to amplify his claims of being targeted by powerful media and political forces. This cycle spiraled further when Trump took to his social platform, firing off a series of posts late at night railing against both Fox and Kimmel. He accused the comedian of being a low-rated, irrelevant mouthpiece for the left, while saving some of his harshest words for Fox executives, whom he branded traitors for acknowledging the midst. His anger underscored a deepening rift between Trump and the network that once served as his megaphone. Insiders reported that his team is increasingly considering Fox unreliable, preferring to push messaging through friendlier channels such as alternative conservative networks, podcasts and direct online broadcasts. The timing of the episode could not have been worse for Trump. He is already facing mounting scrutiny from investigators while preparing for a heated campaign season. Every word and every gesture carries outsized weight, and a perception that Fox deliberately tried to distract the public has added fuel to narratives of chaos swirling around him. Rival campaigns quickly seized on the news, painting Trump as unstable and consumed by media feuds rather than policy issues. Political strategists noted that the controversy could weaken his standing among undecided voters, who may grow weary of constant infighting even as his core base remains loyal. For Fox, the fallout has been equally damaging. The admission that the Kimmel distraction backfired raises serious questions about its editorial strategy. The network has long thrived on its role as both news source and conservative entertainment platform, but its handling of Trump coverage has increasingly proven to be a double-edged sword, boosting ratings on one hand while risking alienation of Trump's devoted viewers on the other. The Kimmel gambit now stands as a high-profile example of how attempts to manipulate narratives can escape control. Insiders say network executives are frustrated that their plan generated more publicity for Kimmel and more fury from Trump, creating a lose-lose situation. Media analysts weighed in describing the saga as emblematic of the larger media political ecosystem, where entertainment figures and political leaders increasingly clash in ways that blur the line between serious governance and celebrity drama. Kimmel himself wasted no time addressing the story in his monologue, joking that Trump and Fox were fighting like ex-lovers and mocking the idea that his comedy show could ever truly distract from the former president's controversies. His remarks drew laughter from the studio audience, but also highlighted a deeper truth: the intersection of late-night satire and political coverage has become a defining feature of modern American discourse. Trump's fury has also triggered speculation about his future relationship with Fox. Some believe he may attempt to fully sever ties, while others argue that despite his anger he remains dependent on the platform's reach. Past patterns suggest that Trump's criticisms of Fox often fluctuate depending on coverage he perceives as favorable or hostile, yet this time appears different because of the explicit acknowledgement from Fox insiders that the strategy failed. It has given Trump a clear grievance to hammer home, and his campaign is already using the moment to rally supporters under the banner of fighting both liberal elites and unreliable conservative voices. In closed-door donor meetings, Trump reportedly pointed to the Fox-Kimmel debacle as proof that he cannot trust traditional media channels. He argued that his campaign must invest heavily in direct-to-voter outreach, including rallies, digital platforms, and new technologies designed to bypass media gatekeepers. His allies echoed the sentiment, portraying him as a leader under siege who needs grassroots backing more than ever. Some supporters even cheered the feud, suggesting that a break from Fox could free Trump from dependency and push him toward building a media empire of his own. At the same time, rival Republicans are quietly watching watching the situation unfold with interest for them. Fox has historically been a critical platform for boosting visibility and shaping conservative narratives. If Trump's bond with the network continues to deteriorate, it may open doors for other candidates to gain more airtime and establish themselves as viable alternatives. Insiders note that Fox executives are already weighing adjustments to balance Trump coverage with space for other conservative figures without alienating his base too aggressively. This delicate dance underscores the complicated role the network plays as both influencer and responder in the political landscape. Democrats meanwhile see opportunity in the feud, framing it as evidence of dysfunction on the right. They argue that Trump's obsession with personal feuds highlights his inability to focus on governance, while Fox's failed distraction shows that even his allies are struggling to contain the chaos. The Biden campaign in particular has leaned on messaging that Trump represents instability and distraction, a narrative they believe resonates with swing voters already fatigued by political drama. The broader implications of the Kimmel distraction saga extend beyond Trump and Fox. They reflect the growing power of satire and entertainment in shaping political narratives. Late-night comedy, once considered fringe in its influence, now regularly drives headlines and shapes conversations across partisan lines. What began as jokes in a studio can reverberate into political campaigns, boardrooms and donor meetings. The episode illustrates how the media environment has evolved into a complex ecosystem where no message exists in isolation. Every attempt to steer conversation risks boomeranging back in unexpected ways. Critics of Trump argue that his decision to lash out rather than pivot demonstrates a weakness in his approach. Instead of seizing the chance to highlight policy achievements or forward-looking ideas, he chose to deepen a feud that draws attention to his anger and volatility. Supporters counter that this very combativeness is what makes him appealing, framing him as a fighter who never backs down from perceived slights. They argue that his refusal to tolerate betrayal resonates deeply with a base that distrusts both liberal media and establishment conservative outlets. Kimmel's role in the saga cannot be overstated. Though his show is primarily entertainment, his ability to provoke reactions from both Trump and Fox illustrates the increasing overlap between comedy and politics. Some analysts suggest that the more Trump reacts to Kimmel, the more power the comedian gains, fueling a cycle that benefits late-night ratings while undermining Trump's image among broader audiences. Fox's attempt to leverage Kimmel as a distraction ironically handed him greater relevance, positioning him as a cultural foil to Trump in a way that traditional politicians cannot match. As the dust settles, questions remain about what this episode means for the future of media and politics. Will Fox recalibrate its approach to Trump coverage? Will Trump's campaign successfully pivot toward alternative platforms? And will comedians like Kimmel continue to wield influence in shaping the political conversation? What is clear is that the stakes are rising as the election season intensifies. Every feud, every admission and every misstep carries magnified consequences. For now, Trump continues to rage, framing the Fox-Kimmel revelation as proof that the establishment is conspiring against him. His social posts grow more combative, his allies double down on claims of sabotage, and his opponents seize the moment to question his stability. Fox, on its part, is left grappling with the fallout of a strategy that failed to achieve its goals. Instead of controlling the narrative, it exposed vulnerabilities in both the network's editorial strategy and Trump's temperament. In the world of modern politics, where distraction is often a weapon, the failed an attempt to use Kimmel may go down as one of the most ironic backfires yet. The days ahead will reveal whether Trump's fury transforms into a lasting break with Fox, or whether this feud, like many before, will eventually fade into the background. What remains undeniable is that the revelation has added another volatile layer to an already unpredictable political climate. As Trump fumes and Fox admits failure, the nation is once again reminded that in an era where politics, media and entertainment are inseparably intertwined, even a late-night joke can ignite a firestorm that reverberates far beyond the television screen. This episode underscores a truth that has become increasingly evident in American politics. The battle for narrative control is relentless, unpredictable and often uncontrollable. Attempts to manipulate distraction can backfire spectacularly, leaving both politicians and media outlets scrambling to contain the fallout. As Trump fumes and Fox admits the Kimmel distraction backfired, the spectacle continues shaping perceptions, influencing voters and reinforcing the idea that in the current